They all converge at the Yaoundé May 20th Boulevard this May 1st to commemorate the 139th edition of the International Labour Day. Before the start of the traditional march past, the thousands of participants listened keenly to workers' trade unionists as they paint the picture of working conditions in different sectors of Cameroon, advocating for government to do better. And presiding over the parade ceremony, the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregor Owona, reassures the workers that the government is progressively taking measures to improve on the precarious situation of employees, especially in the private sector. Hundreds of enterprises from the different sectors of the economy, like electricity, hydrocarbon, agriculture, telecommunication, banking and finance, the media, the civil society organization, among others, excitedly march past the tribune. While many are out to project their structures and woo clients, a few of the placards can be spotted carrying messages of advocacy for social dialogue, decent working conditions, safety and the health of workers.
Non-valorization of personnel delegates, weak culture of social dialogue, and inadequate involvement of personnel in decision-making in most institutions are some of the major preoccupations highlighted by leaders of trade union confederations at the May 20 Boulevard this May 1st.
We want the strict application of the Labour Code, the betterment of working conditions, and application of other bounding treaties to guarantee the respect of workers' rights.
The workers' representatives have also called on the government and other stakeholders to ensure strict application of international treaties on decent job, amelioration of working conditions, and the facilitation of the policy of voluntary social insurance schemes. They, however, appreciate some advancements and measures taken by the government to respond to the plea of workers.
There are some acts of good faith from the government, like the collective convention that has been negotiated, but we need the government to monitor and ensure proper implementation.
A large number of employed workers in Cameroon are stuck in hazardous and risky jobs or jobs with adverse working conditions in Cameroon, especially in the private sector. Many have difficulties finding stable employment and are usually not covered by social insurance.
A visible energy fills the air, mixing the fresh scent of clean earth with the spirit of collective efforts. The Association of Youths, commonly known as Day Zero, decided to celebrate the International Labour Day with concrete, useful, human interest actions, cleaning the aid to the neighborhood. Armed with shovels, wheelbarrows, brooms and rakes, these young volunteers restored the neighborhood's former look by cleaning streets and drainage systems. A duty with love, this neighborhood I grew up in, to answer the call of my younger brothers who brought up this noble, laudable and appreciative initiative. Picking from the footsteps of their elders, the future is assured. The pace was steady, punctuated by a sports match where the young people strengthened their community bond. To ensure everybody's safety and well-being, a medical team was on site ready to intervene if needs be. Nothing can be done if not in good health, while El Rafa Medical Center is part of the healthy activity. Today, transformed under the skilled hands of these young people, the neighborhood breathed fresh air again, revitalized by the engaged youths. Professionals, proof that every small gesture can make a big difference, especially on this day when labor is celebrated.
As Cameroon approaches its 2025 presidential elections, the National Communication Council is intensifying efforts to combat the spread of disinformation on social media platforms.
Preparing your interactive program or your debate programs, you know who can come in to provide additional information to what you know about the subject. And sometimes when you get experts, it's because you want the experts to express their opinions and give credibility to the allegations or the pre-knowledge you have about the subject. And that's why you don't ask people to give their opinions. You ask people questions on a given subject, and when you prepare your debate, you would move from an introductory part to the middle of the debate to the conclusion part, because you have prepared and you're asking questions, not opinions. If you ask opinions, any individual or panelist that you have will give you an opinion.
In a recent session of the Café du CNC held in Douala, the NCC convened journalists, editors and media representatives to discuss strategies for identifying and countering false information online.
We will be putting in place a fact-checking mechanism unit within the council within the next couple of weeks that will help Cameroonians to be able to debunk or uphold information from the social media which are not correct or need some correction.
With the elections on the horizon, the NCC's initiatives underscore the importance of responsible journalism in fostering a well-informed electorate and a stable democratic process. These journalists from media houses in Douala, Cameroon, are discussing the state of journalism in the country. The event that marks the 3rd edition of Press Week, officially launched in Douala, April 29, 2025, served as both a forum for reflection and a call to action. During the opening session, journalists shared personal stories from the front lines, highlighting the many risks and restrictions they face in their daily work. From censorship to lack of protection, many described an increasingly hostile environment for independent reporting. The event also saw the unveiling of a national deployment plan for May 3, which will coordinate activities across the country to observe the celebration of World Press Freedom Day. But beyond celebration, there was also self-reflection. Disinformation, lapses in ethics, and professional misconduct were acknowledged by participants as pressing issues within the industry itself. Still, press union leaders argue that these problems are worsened by an environment of neglect, adding the state seemed comfortable with keeping the press in a state of vulnerability, pointing to poor working conditions, low pay, and a lack of legal protection as evidence of systemic disregard. In the field, journalists say they often face intimidation and obstruction inside newsrooms, internal censorship, lack of resources, and editorial interference continue to challenge the integrity of their work. As Press Week continues and World Press Freedom Day approaches, journalists in Cameroon are using this moment not just to celebrate, but to demand a stronger, freer, and more professional press.
The board chair of the Elections Management Body, ELECAM, has allayed the worries of some political parties about the non-publication of the National Electoral Registers. Speaking in Bamenda during the 3rd consultative platform with other stakeholders, Eno Abrams Egbe attributed the delay to cyber attacks on their website.
People are more of fake news, more of a deletion. They will try to communicate in an orderly manner. He who tells the truth is not necessarily the one who talks to me separately. They will be in terms of communication, maybe we will not be doing enough. We are trying to before this election, before our communication set up.
The registration process in the Northwest region also came under review from the presentation of the regional delegate Mbo Elvis. As at December 31 last year, a total of 621,253 potential voters. With the security crisis slowly making way, voter registration commission members have been increasing their footsteps.
The representative of SDF in that commission have been doing a fabulous, formidable job in distributing.
Members of the platform later split into 3 groups to formulate recommendations, some of which bordered on the increase in number of polling stations for better participation in the electoral process, while the registers remain open for new voters as the electorate could be convened to the polls at any time, though over 74,000 voters' cards are still pending collection.
Laboratory research works on HIV and AIDS, viral hepatitis, STI, tuberculosis, and other emerging infectious diseases on the discussion table. The projects on cause, challenges, and observations for better solutions to facilitate the research work. One of the work is to find elements to limit hepatitis B transmission from mother to child, as hepatitis B has a high prevalence rate, around 11% in Cameroon, with numerous deaths around the world.
L'une des voies de transmission de cette maladie, c'est
one of the transmission routes is during pregnancy or just after delivery, which can be largely controlled if the actual new recommendations are applied, that is, the vaccination at birth of babies from mothers with infection markers. Meeting at the Yaoundé Central Hospital, the stakeholders are touching all the scientific discipline, that is the fundamentals, translational and clinical research in public health, such as biomedical research. It should be retained that biomedical research is important for new treatments to diagnose and follow up patients. The nasal clinical trial on investigative research work for HIV treatment got the attention of the World Health Organization, who instructed the introduction of dolutegravir as first-line therapeutic scheme for countries with limited resources like Cameroon. What we are using today when someone is infected with HIV. This to mark the Research Investigators Day, sustained by the National Agency for Scientific Research, ANRS, MIE, Cameroon. Gender-based violence remains a significant concern in Cameroon, affecting women and girls. Nearly 2/3, that is 63% of the population, believe it. Approximately 48% of Cameroonians report that violence against women and girls is common, taking many forms: physical, sexual, emotional, psychological, economic, and harmful cultural practices with devastating consequences. Efforts to hold down the victims at times does not match the act, leaving many disappointed and heartbroken. Prevention and response include education and awareness campaigns, legal reforms and enforcement, empowering women and girls, and support services for survival. The agreement sealed between the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Family and Afiri NGO falls in line with the latter.
We have noticed since December 9th, we opened our doors, we received a large number of victims of violence. So we now send the report to MINPROF, and they realize that we need to sign a joint agreement to make sure that we combine our strength together to source for more funding and to make sure that all those victims coming to us are really take care, because it's very important that when we receive them, we give them all the services.
Embracing the hands of support and solidarity, because to the minister, the state cannot fight the battle against gender-based violence or follow-up victims alone.
We are not encouraging violence, but when it happens, the victims should have a place where they can go. The state has a few structures, but we need more. And when we see civil society setting foot inside there, we have to take that extended hand. And this partnership is extremely important, and we would like to have more initiatives of this kind to take place.
The parties have taken the engagement, but many are looking forward to seeing firm, stern legal reforms on the matter.